Okay, so it hasn't even been one day, and I already had a new dream, which actually I guess doesn't happen very often because I don't think I have like real coherent dreams that often. I didn't expect it to be like 2 days in a row, but the dream I had today was kind of fun, but also a little unpleasant. Was sort of nightmarish. It wasn't like full on nightmare, but it was, well, nightmare-ish. And what happened was I was traveling with my mother. We were traveling by train, and we were on this train station, which looked very new, very modern. Um, it had lots of those like high speed, ultra new trains, which they have like in Japan and China and so on. This sort of stuff. Um, so they had a lot of those trains, but the weird thing about it was some of the trains, especially the one that we were getting onto, some of the train carriages didn't have a roof or walls. It was literally just a floor with a bunch of benches on it. And like literally the kind of benches you have in a park. And what was funny was the benches stood parallel to the direction of movement of the train, which basically means if the train is going at like 300 kilometers per hour, you're going to fly off. So it made no sense, but dream logic, I guess. And I don't remember what happened exactly, but then when we were on this train station, something really terrible happened. I think it was like a terrorist attack or a bombing or I don't know what. I woke up like an hour ago, but I think it has already escaped my memory. I should have recorded this earlier, but anyway. Um, so this bomb goes off, and then, or maybe it was an attack of like a giant robot. Maybe it was a giant robot. But anyway, my friend then shows up. I'm trying to remember if it was a he or a she, because I think in the beginning of the dream, it was a he. It was a guy. But in the second half, he turned into a girl. I do not remember. Anyway, so he or she shows up, and they're like, "Oh, I know who's doing this. I can take you there." And then we use this sort of teleport technology because whatever the evil guy was doing, right, the bombing or the robot attack, he was connecting to it with like I don't know, internet radio waves maybe. Um, and we use those to teleport right to him. Don't ask. Don't ask. Um, so okay, so we're there, and it's like this awful looking cellar, like absolutely horrible looking boiler room type deal. Uh, it's nighttime. It's very dark. Well, obviously there are no windows because it's a cellar. Um, it has concrete walls painted with in light blue. Um, and there are lots of machines standing everywhere, like the type of like water boiling machines that you would see in a cellar. And on the floor there are lots of pieces of scrap metal, like in piles, and old rags and trash and dust, and it's like a really horrible place. And it's kind of it's a long room, and at the end of it there's a ladder, not a ladder, there's a staircase that goes up and to the left. And on this staircase there's a person laying down. Um, and that person is covered with a bunch of rags, like it was obvious that it was like that he was like trying to sleep or something, and he pokes his head out from under the rags, and it's like it's a young boy. It's a young boy of about 12 or 13, and he has sort of, well, longish hair, like until here, completely blonde, like the sort of hair like young boys have. Um, and he pokes his head out, and I realize, I think my friend tells me that he is the evil that he's the evil artificer. Artificer? I don't know. Anyway, he's the villain of the story, and he's looking at me not in a kind way, but also not in like a hateful way. He was smirking, I think, like he was laughing at me, the guy. Um, in a really, he was like really mean. He gave off like a really mean vibe, and he like just killed my mother or something. I don't know, with his robot. Um, so I go up the ladder past the guy, and I see that actually he has like a really nice apartment, or house, but it was more like an apartment, I guess. I end up in the corridor, which leads to a lot of other rooms, like a big sort of foyer area. Uh, and what's weird about it? Well, first of all, there are no windows, and I have this sort of like old white light lamps on the ceiling, but it's still kind of dark in there. Like, there are sources of light, but it's kind of dark in the apartment, and it has a really weird design. Like it's painted in like drippy fairy tale like colors, and has like pictures of. I don't remember if it had any pictures on the walls, but it was painted like in fairy tale colors. I don't know if you. The best thing I can compare it to is like a children's hospital, like an old USSR children's hospital. If anybody has ever been to anything like that, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, if not, maybe you can just Google it. But the walls were like green and pink and blue and everything at the same time, and they had like weird shapes, like um, they were concave, convex maybe. Um, and obviously it was a very big apartment, so the guy was wealthy, or at least his parents were wealthy, um, because they could afford such a big house or a big apartment, and with a cellar and everything, and the robots, and I don't know what, the bombs. Bombs are so expensive, right? I mean, it's insane. If you want to drop one bomb, it costs like $100,000, which is just insane to think about. You know, every time somebody shoots a bomb in a war, or like a tank round, that's like $100,000. That's you know, somebody's life savings. Probably a lot more. But anyway, okay. Off tangent. Off topic. Um, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, and the thing about that apartment was it was big, but it was really uncared for. Like there was dust everywhere, on the floor, on the walls, on all the furniture, and there were holes in the walls, with like isolation foam sticking out and lots of other weird, nasty things. It was horrible. It was completely. It wasn't in ruin, but it was a place where somebody lived clearly, but it was not cared for at all. And then I see his mother coming out of the kitchen, which I assumed was kitchen. And the weird thing about his mother is that she was black, but he wasn't. So I guess it wasn't his mother, but like his father's new wife. if that makes sense. And I think I saw like younger children, so younger than him, and they were half black. So I guess they were like, he was like a son from the first wife or something. I don't know. Um, she didn't say anything to me. She just walked past me. And then the next thing I remember is that me, my friend, and the evil guy, we all went outside. We climbed out, I don't know, from the apartment or maybe also from the cellar, and we were in a field, like a spacious rolling field with little shrubs, some small trees, sand, and it was really warm. It was really hot actually. It was summertime. The sun was shining, and we got outside, and I was like, "Wow, like you live in the middle of nowhere." I remember I asked him. I didn't know why, but I thought we were in Russia, and I asked him, "Are you from Moscow?" And he just smirked at me. um, like he looked at me like I was an idiot, like I was asking a stupid question. But I think, come on, I think you know, it's a legitimate question, isn't it? I don't. What was I saying? It's really difficult to connect parts of the dream together because I only have some, like little scraps of it left in my memory at this point. Another thing I remember is it's the next bit. We were standing on a bank in a city, on a bank of a river, and it was like a very, very large river. Absolutely massive, like a couple of kilometers wide, most likely. And it was nighttime, and it was a very stormy night. Like there were lots of um, dark rain clouds with lightning and thunder, and it looked very evil. Um, on the other side of the river there were a lot of buildings. I'm trying to describe the architecture of them because um, they were European, sort of Northern European, like maybe German or Dutch, except they were built not from brick, but they were built from like yellowish concrete, or maybe it was sandstone. I'm not sure. Um, but they had little towers on top and spires, and it had a bit of a gothic feel to it, but not completely gothic, not like, full on gothic. It was more 19th century fake gothic style, sort of. And there were lots of those buildings on the other side of the river, and also on the side that we were standing on. And we were standing next to a big arch. It was to the left of us. And I think there was a tram going through the arch, or maybe at least tram tracks. And also there lay a lot of scrap metal. And I guess for some reason I realized that we were in Moscow in Russia, which I've never been to Moscow, but I've seen photos, and it's not what it looks like at all. Like, not even close. But, and then I realized, this guy, I asked him if he's ever been to Moscow, but we are actually in Moscow, like, right now. Crazy. It blew my mind. And that's about everything I remember from the dream. So it didn't go into full nightmare territory, but it had some nightmare elements to it. Something scary happened in the first part of the dream, and I do not remember what it was. something that happened to my mother, I think, who I was traveling with. And what I also realize now is that the location where we were was very close to my nightmare land. So basically, in my nightmares all happen in the same sort of location. It has been happening for the last um, couple of years, and I've managed to assemble in my head kind of a map of the area. It's not all one location. You can imagine it as like a video game map with lots of different zones. And stupid comparison, but okay. You know. And all my like real nightmares, they all happen in that place, and I can really feel it when I'm there. Like it has a very special feel to it and provokes a very special emotion in me. So, and I felt that this dream took place close to that location, but not in it. Like you could probably travel to my nightmare land from there. Weird. But yeah, I went to bed really late last night. I went to bed like 3 a.m. because I had a Coca-Cola last night at 6 o'clock. At 6:30 maybe even. And I should not have done that. I didn't drink that much caffeine yesterday. I had one energy drink at about 12 o'clock. And I had a cola at 6. But it kept me up until 3 a.m. I just couldn't fall asleep. So it kind of sucks because I didn't have a good night's rest. But I was in my bed tonight, which is very good. Very warm, very comfortable. And yeah, that was my dream about an evil artificer.